Hi everybody and welcome back. The next 4 videos in the series are going to explore the 4 big areas of superior leadership. We'll call them the 4 C's. They are character, competence, connect, and command. Each of these 4 will be broken down even further into 4 subcategories so that you can start to reflect upon your areas of strength and your areas of weakness. A great leader who cared a lot about character was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. told his followers not to judge people by their appearance, but rather by the content of their character. A person's character, regardless of whether it's good or bad, can inspire others to greatness, or it can really discourage them from trying at all. Authentic leaders lead from a strong moral value that can have a profound impact on others. Another good example of someone really high in this area is Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa worked with AIDS patients, worked with lepers, worked with the poor, and worked with the homeless. And she did all this without wanting anything in return. Authenticity is doing what you say you're going to do and doing it with integrity 100% of the time. This is something that you should strive for. Mother Teresa said about character, and I quote, "Your true character is most accurately measured by how you treat those who can do nothing for you." Now let's break down the 4 areas of character. First, leaders self-reflect. If we don't take time to quietly think about our actions, we're unlikely to get any better. This doesn't always mean that we did anything wrong. Even if we tried our best, we still can learn a lot about spending a little bit of time each day to really think about what happened. When we reflect, it gives us better perspective. We start to realize what is really important and what really isn't. It allows us to have more gratitude and be thankful for what we have. It helps us to become self-aware of our tendencies, which might be good or bad, and this helps us to be a more humble person. If you really know yourself, you're going to be more authentic, and people really respect authentic leaders. Next, leaders are reliable. We all fail from time to time, but consistent actions will help prove to your team that you can be counted on. If you're reliable, it means you're fully committed to what you're doing. You're loyal, you show responsibility, and you're okay with being held accountable when you mess up. Remember, people rely on you. If you fail them, you let them down. The third subcategory of character is leaders have integrity. Have you seen any of those hidden camera videos? They're all the craze on social media right now. So let's say someone's walking through the park and they drop a large sum of money. The hidden camera looks at the person on the bench to see if they're going to take the money or if they're going to go up and give it back. So that's basically integrity, doing the right thing just because it's the right thing, even when no one is watching. We all like to be caught doing something good, but those with true integrity are the people that do the right thing regardless of if there's a reward or not. That's what we want to be thinking about when we think about integrity. The 4th subcategory of character is leaders have goodwill. Goodwill is exactly like it sounds, willing the good of another. Do you really want what's best for another person, or do you just want them to do what you want them to do? Leaders who are strong in goodwill really care about another person. They're positive, enthusiastic, and caring. They support those who need it. They encourage those who need encouragement. Leaders who have goodwill are selfless. They think about themselves last. That's what a servant leader really is. There's an interesting video that I watched recently that kind of explained how we do things a little bit wrong when it comes to leadership. In a lot of everyday thoughts, we think a lot about ourselves. We focus on ourselves. If I focus on how I feel about myself, I become self-conscious, and that causes anxiety. If I focus on how others feel about me, I become insecure. This also causes anxiety. If I focus on how I feel about you, this causes criticism and judgment. Even if I compliment you or congratulate you on something that you did really well, your positive feelings are a direct result of what I think about you. True influence, which is exactly what leadership is when I focus on how you feel about yourself. Take yourself out of it completely and focus on the other person. This is servant leadership, and this is how you really will influence others. So we talked about why character is really important. Now let's talk about what happens if you don't have high character. There are plenty of leaders in history who lacked character, and a lot of times they are really successful for a certain amount of time until their low character or their character flaws catch up with them. And that usually leads to their ultimate failure. And they're remembered not as a famous person, but an infamous person. Their leadership ends in disgrace, and that's what they're remembered for. So we want to avoid that possibility. On the flip side, if you're really high in character, but low in these other three categories, which we'll talk about later, which are connect, competence, and command. So you're high in character, but low in the others. You might just be a pushover, and that's not a very good leader either. So we'll talk more about that in the later videos. If you're motivated wrongly in this category, your character could really be based on self-righteousness. That is, look at me, look how great I am. I'm so much better than everybody else. That's why it's really important to self-reflect so that you can be authentic and you can be humble. We really don't have time for people that are self-righteous in band. If you think you have nothing to learn as a person, let alone a musician, you're probably in the wrong place. We don't have time to convince you that you have something to learn. So if your motivation isn't to be seen or to be rewarded, then what's your motivation to be of high character? Well, it's pretty simple, just doing the right thing. That should be your motivation. If you do what's right consistently, you are going to be at peace with your own decisions in your life. And you're also going to help make the lives of others better too. Our next video will be about the second area of leadership, and that is competence. In the meantime, start reflecting upon your own character. What can you do daily to improve your own character?